The 2026 FIFA World Cup is officially underway. It's the biggest World Cup we've ever seen. There's more teams, more matches, more countries, more fans, more attention, and also that means more money. Millions of people are placing more bets. Yes, we're talking about gambling. Millions more are making predictions, and billions of people around the world are following every match. But while everyone else is focused on who wins the World Cup, I'm asking a completely different question. Who's making money because of it? Because throughout history, the biggest winners during massive events usually aren't the people playing the game. They're the companies building the infrastructure around it. Think about it. During a gold rush, who made the most money? Not always the miners. The people selling the picks and shovels often build the biggest fortunes. I think we're watching something very similar happen right now. Prediction markets are exploding. People don't just want to watch anymore. They want to participate. They want skin in the game. And I think we're still at the early innings of this trend. Now, before you think I'm talking about DraftKings or FanDuel or Kalshi, I'm not. Because I actually think there's another company that's quietly positioning itself to benefit from all of this. And I believe most investors are completely overlooking this company. The company is Robinhood. Now, if your first thought is, wait, isn't Robinhood just a trading app? I think that's exactly why Wall Street is getting wrong. Because I don't think Robinhood is building a brokerage anymore. I think it's building a financial super app. And that's what today's video is really about. Let's dive into the actual numbers. But before we jump into the analysis, if you enjoy finding companies before Wall Street fully understands them, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Every week I break down the businesses I'm personally researching and investing in, using both fundamentals and technicals to help you make smart investing decisions. Now let's pull a value snapshot and see if the numbers actually support the thesis. Now, having a good story is great, but what really matters is the numbers, what the charts are telling us, what the actual story is, and where this company is going. And then in the end of this video, we'll get into what I'm personally doing and if I actually think this company is a buy or not. So if we come on over here to valuesnapshot.io, I use this for my researching of many different companies, including the ones that I talk about all the time on this platform. So if you want access to that, I'll leave that link down in the bio below. So what has Robinhood been doing? Well, it's been on a bit of a tear the past month, being up 16%. Over the past 6 months, still down 16%. Over the year to date, it's down 14%. Over the last year, it's up 5.4%. So you're not getting it at bargain bin prices. We'll get into that a little bit later. But what I do believe is it's cheap. And the numbers do back up the company. And analysts believe that as well. So if we just go down here to key financials, we can see that revenue growth trailing 12-month basis almost 52%. That's very, very, very outstanding. Operating margins is 46%. Free cash flow on a trailing 12-month basis got up to $2.1 billion for this company. Their current ratio for debt is 1.22. I'd like to see that under a 1. And then their PE is on a trailing 12-month basis 47. Seems a little bit high, but again, this company is growing very rapidly. The gross margin is 82%. The free cash flow margin is 46%. And then the forward PE is only 38%. And they're getting a 2.42% free cash flow yield. So nothing really here screams overvalued. It's also not a screaming undervalued company either. But I do believe that it is undervalued. I'll give a little hint to what I'm going to say later in the video. So the revenue growth continued to compound. They're up to $4.5 billion as of 2025, $1.6 billion as a free cash flow. Like I said, they're doing more on a trailing 12-month basis. And let's talk about the bull case, bear case. Top line compounding at 52% year over year, $4.6 billion in revenue, growing and accelerating, not maturing. Bear case, rich at a 47 PE, competitive shifts, regulation, and macro shocks can override fundamentals. So that's all fine and dandy. Now let's actually go in and look at some charts, see what the actual visuals are showing us. So we can see the revenues are obviously up and to the right on this company. Net income did a complete flip back here in 2023, 2024, and is up and to the right. I'd like to look at this on a trailing 12-month basis so we can really see what's going on. And as we see revenues up and to the right, we see net incomes up and to the right. Had a bit of a dip down these past 2 quarters. I know they did miss their prior quarter EPS and revenue, I believe. So it wasn't the greatest of quarters. EPS still up and to the right overall, though. Free cash flow is getting a little choppy. Gross margins, operating margins, net margins, and free cash flow margins are still looking pretty healthy. If we look down here into some other items, operating income, EBITDA, gross profit, these are all growing at a very nice clip, as we can see through these nice visuals just up and to the right. Revenue per share, stock-based compensation, adjusted free cash flow per share, book value, operating expense, capital expenditures are staying light, and those are all things we like to see. Now, looking what analysts have to say for this company, they have a consensus around $109 and a high of $135. So 37% upside to the high of where analysts are. Analyst projections have this company growing revenue about 10, 24, 17, 19. Let's just call it about 15. Let's call it high teens for the next 5 years. And then on an EPS basis, they have them decelerating, shrinking in 2026, and then continuing to get back on their growth of about, let's call it 19 to 23% average yearly revenue or EPS growth rate. And we look at analysts, BTIG initiated a buy June 26th of $125. Argus Research raised to $110 from $90. Loop Capital Markets raised $110, and that was his 10% head count reduction raising target. So they raised it $10. Deutsche Bank raised it to $105 from $103. Really, you raised it $2. Needham raised it $85 to $97. So this whole month, we've been getting a lot of raises of targets by analysts as well, things that we do like to see. Now that we kind of looked at like the snapshot of what's really going on with the numbers of the business, they are all looking healthy. A bit down last quarter or two, but I don't think that's very sustainable. I think they continue to grow up and to the right, as we've seen on a yearly basis. Now that we got that out of the way, all the numbers that not everybody loves the numbers, right? Let's talk about the actual business. What's the actual business doing here? And the great thing about Robinhood is that they are innovating a lot. And this is where, like I was talking about earlier in the video, let's do green for Robinhood. The whole prediction markets come in. Because like we showed you in the trends, and like we showed you in the amount of money that's going to be being spent on gambling in prediction markets on the FIFA World Cup that we have going on right now, this is just another high grossing business that they have exposure to this now. And the thing about them having this prediction market, just think of this like this. People are now more so in the stock market, more so into trading. And with trading can come this itch for, itchy fingers, always wanting to be doing something, always wanting to be in something, always looking for that thrill of gambling or putting money on the line. And so Robinhood caters to the retail community, and not saying that just retail communities are gamblers. There's a lot of gamblers out there. Wall Streets are a bunch of gamblers as well. But it curtails to them, and you have it all in this one simplistic app. So you're sitting there and you're trading one day, and then you're watching the U.S. men's team play at night, and then you're gambling on the game. You're doing the prediction market, or you're doing prediction market on, a political event or an FOMC event, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying here? It's all in one app. But not just that. That's just one pillar of this whole thing, guys. Look at all this innovation that Robinhood's had just this year in 2026. They're launching all these other cryptos. They launched the Robinhood Legend Scanner, and they launched the Legend trading surface, or whatever the heck it is, the site basically where you can go on there, you can trade, and you can, basically like their equivalent of like TradingView or something. And then you also have stock and share ISAs for the UK customers, so they're expanding globally. Introducing Platinum card instead of just the Gold card. Family Hub. Obviously, they got the Trump accounts for kids I mean, just so much innovation, guys. And they are creating this flywheel. They're creating this flywheel where you have the Robinhood app and you can now bank with them, you can save with them, you can invest with them, you can do your retirement with them, you can do your kids' accounts with them, you can do family accounts with them, you can do prediction markets now, you can do the credit card. They have Robinhood Social now. Like, there's so many things. So many things. They really are building the everything app. And people just think this is just a brokerage company. It used to be just a brokerage company, but it's not a brokerage company just anymore. This is an everything app, guys. Everything app. And they're building like crazy. So as they continue to build, who else is innovating like this? That's what you really have to ask yourself. Who else is innovating like this? And I don't know any other companies that are innovating at this scale, not just in the brokerage field, but in the prediction markets field and everything, guys. The credit card field, like, and just making this simple, simplistic everything and on one touch of an app. It's all at the tip of your fingers. So when I look at Robinhood, I sit there and I say, man, this is a great opportunity. It's well off its all-time highs. If we jump on over here to the charts, it's 56% off its all-time highs still. Now, our DCA optimizer, this is our discounted cash flow. Man, it's been a long night. This is our dollar cost averaging optimizer, which basically tells you if I want to just buy one time every single month of a company, let's say Robinhood, then I'm going to do just one time buy every single month. And let's say that's $250. Well, if you wanted to do, that you're going to do that every single month. And you're going to do it until you build out your position. That's what dollar cost averaging is. Very simple. But when you get down in here to these 2 or 3x or 4x areas on the DCA optimizer, you're just simply going 2 times your DCA, 3 times your DCA, or 4 times your DCA. So basically 250 to 500, 500 to 750, 750 to 1,000, right? And it's capped out at, basically 1,000 or a 4x. And you're doing this, right? You're doing this so you can get the lowest possible cost basis. Because what the dollar cost averaging optimizer is really doing is it's helping control your fear. When markets are red, when stocks you really love are just getting beaten down, 56% off their high, right? Actually, we did that backwards. We'll have to do it this way. 36% off its high, but if it goes back to all-time high, you get 56%. Funny how that works. A lot of people don't understand that. So you want to be buying, obviously, in these areas down here, guys. You want to be buying and accumulating most of your position in these areas down here. And this DCA optimizer helps you with that. Because if you simply just entrust in your conviction, step 1, 2, entrust in the DCA optimizer, it's going to tell you, okay, 1x buy every single week or every single month, however often you want to buy. And then when we get a 2x or a 3x or a 4x, you bump those numbers up. That way, if you're DCAing all through here 1x and DCAing all through here 1x, but you were tripling down, doubling down, quadrupling down here, your cost basis goes from here to down here. And that's going to give you way more upside. Way more upside, guys. Obviously, everybody wants the lowest possible cost basis. You want to have a cost basis of $10 on Robinhood instead of $37. That way, when it runs to 150, you did 1,500% instead of, 600, 700%. It's almost half. Sorry, I did the math there in my head. Almost half less. Everybody wants a bottom. Everybody wants to buy at the bottom. But the thing is, guys, you can't time the bottom. You might do it once. You might do it twice. But that's about all you're going to do. Okay? No one's out here timing bottoms left and right, especially not on investments. So you just got to sit there and say, okay, I got a DCA. You can just normal dollar cost average throughout it and build out your position. Or if you want the DCA optimizer, I'll leave that link down in the leave that linked in the bio below. You can come join the investing community, and you can get the DC optimizer. You can also see the high conviction portfolio that we're building out with my top 5 highest conviction stocks right now that I continue to put money in every single week. And if you want access to that, like I said, we'll leave that link down in the bio below. But the question is for this video, am I buying Robinhood here? And the answer to that is, yeah, I've been buying Robinhood in here. I've been buying it in my wife's account, and I've been buying it in my retirement account. Because when I look at this company, I just sit there and say, yeah, they know how to innovate. They're going to continue to crush it. And they're going to continue to hold on to the people they're bringing to the app because they're making it too good for you to leave. So that's what I'm looking at here. So would I buy Robinhood today? Personally, yes, I've been buying, but not because of the World Cup alone. The World Cup is the reason I'm paying attention right now. The World Cup is a catalyst. It's the thing shining in the spotlight on prediction markets, betting behavior, engagement, and how people want to participate in major events. But the real reason I like Robinhood is much bigger than that. Every single year, it looks less like a brokerage and more like a financial super app. Stocks, options, crypto, retirement, credit cards, gold bars sending people on vacations, prediction markets, banking, all inside one ecosystem. And if Robinhood can keep growing assets, keep improving profitability, keep expanding products, keep easing engagement, then I think the market may still be underestimating what this business can become. And that is why Robinhood is on my radar. If you got value from this video, leave a like and subscribe. And if you want more deep dives on companies before Wall Street fully understands them, you're going to love what's coming next. I'm going to keep breaking down the stocks, themes, and market opportunities that I think become the next big winners. So let me know in the comments. Is Robinhood still just a brokerage, or is it becoming something much bigger? And I'll catch you guys in the next one.